We're here because free speech is under attack. We're here because people are being convinced that socialism works. We're here because people are being judged guilty until proven innocent. We are fighting back with facts. This is not a safe zone, so buckle up, Buttercup. This is the raw, naked truth.
Milton approaches Florida, North Korea on the offensive, the U.S. deficit rising, and more. Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin, and here's the news you need to know. The strongest storm in the Gulf of Mexico since 2005 is expected to make landfall tonight in the Tampa Bay area, where experts warn the storm surge could reach 15 feet. Nearly 6 million Floridians across 11 counties in coastal and low-lying areas are under mandatory or voluntary evacuation orders. More than 1,500 flights have been canceled as of Tuesday. Milton, a Category 4 as of this morning, is likely to weaken into a Category 3 before it lands, but experts warn it will have devastating effects. Tampa Mayor Jane Castor said that debris left from Hurricane Helene 2 weeks ago could be picked up by Milton and used as a weapon. Hispanic voters at a pro-Trump event in Nevada ripped the Biden-Harris administration on immigration following news that tens of thousands of illegal immigrants charged with rape and murder are in the United States. The current administration are very, very responsible, Demesio Guerrero, a Trump supporter at a GOP Hispanic outreach event in Clark County, Nevada, told Fox News Digital in response to a question about recently released ICE data showing tens of thousands of illegal immigrants with sexual assault and murder convictions are living in the United States. They are like traitors of the United States because you know what? All the crimes, all the innocent Americans that are dying every day in many, many, many cities in the United States are the result of those criminals being loose. More voters are calling themselves Republicans than Democrats, suggesting that the GOP has its first durable lead in party identification in more than 3 decades. The development gives former President Donald Trump an important structural advantage in the November election, but other factors could prove more important to the outcome. Democratic Vice President Kamala Harris still leads narrowly in many polls, in some cases because she does well with independent voters. Bill McInturf, a GOP pollster who works on NBC News surveys, first noticed in May that more voters were calling themselves Republicans. The biggest deal in polling is when lines cross, and for the first time in decades, Republicans now have the national edge on party ID, he wrote. He called the development the unrecognized game changer for 2024. North Korea's Kim Jong-un went after South Korea's president for the second time in a week, warning again on Tuesday that Pyongyang will push forward with its plans to be a top nuclear player. Kim accused South Korea's President Yoon Suk-yeol of issuing some tasteless and vulgar comment about the end of the republic in a recent speech and said it shows he is totally consumed by his blind faith in his master's strength, he added, according to a Reuters report in reference to Seoul's partnership with Washington. To be honest, we have absolutely no intention of attacking South Korea, Kim said during a speech at a military school named after him, the Kim Jong-un National Defense University. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu confirmed on Tuesday that Hezbollah's intended replacement of its former leader Syed Hassan Nasrallah, who was killed late last month, has also been taken out. Today, Hezbollah is weaker than it has been for many, many years, Netanyahu said, in a message tailored directly to the people of Lebanon. We've degraded Hezbollah's capabilities. We took out thousands of terrorists, including former Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah himself, and Nasrallah's replacement, and the replacement of his replacement. The United States government continued to spend like a drunken sailor, resulting in a federal deficit that added up to $1.8 trillion in the last fiscal year, according to a new report from the Congressional Budget Office. It's the biggest annual deficit in 3 years and a sign that lawmakers have largely ignored the widening budget gap ahead of pivotal tax decisions coming in 2025. The nearly $2 trillion annual deficit was fueled by greater spending on programs for older Americans and higher interest payments. The U.S. spent $950 billion on its IOUs last fiscal year, a 34% spike from the previous year and more than the Pentagon's entire budget, per the Washington Post. Breaking up Google is among the remedies that the U.S. Justice Department is considering recommending as a penalty for its monopolistic practices. According to court documents filed Tuesday, the Justice Department is considering behavioral and structural remedies to prevent Google from using its Chrome, Play, and Android products to give it an unfair advantage over rivals. That may include forcing Google to sell parts of its business, as well as possibly barring exclusive contracts and requiring Google to turn over data it uses to build its search and AI products. In a blog post Monday night, Leanne Mulholland, Google's Vice President of Regulatory Affairs, said the DOJ is seeking radical changes that go far beyond the specific legal issues in this case. Finally, Ethel Kennedy, the widow of Robert F. Kennedy, remains hospitalized after suffering a stroke last week. Former Representative Joe Kennedy III announced on social media Tuesday that his grandmother suffered a stroke in her sleep on Thursday and was brought to an area hospital. She is comfortable, she is getting the best care possible, and she is surrounded by family, he wrote. That's the Raw Naked Truth. You can catch every episode of The Raw Naked Truth at xvadio.com, the Apple Podcasts app, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, and other platforms that respect freedom of speech. We'll see you next time.